The lecture today is irony. It is the literary term for BA Part 3rd, Paper 1st. Irony. The term irony refers to the difference between what is asserted and what actually is. Verbal irony. Ironic reversal of the surface statement. The speaker's explicit expression differs from his implicit meaning. Verbal irony depends upon the knowledge of speaker's intentions shared by the speaker to the audience but unknown to the another or other characters. Structural irony. The structure of some works exhibit irony rather than occasional verbal irony. The structure of the work serves to sustain the duplicity of meaning. A knave hero, narrator, or a spokesman is of great help in bringing about a confusion in the work. His simplicity leads to irony in the face of a knowing author or reader. Irony can be brought out by some use of language. Number 1, invective. Invective is a direct criticism, denunciation by the use of derogatory epithets. Such use is mainly done with an ironic undertone of affection, like Prince Hall in Henry IV First calls Falstaff, quote, "This sanguine coward, this bed presser, this horseback breaker, this huge hill of flesh," unquote. In discourse concerning satire, Dryden opines, "How easy is it to call rogue and villain, and that wittingly, but how hard to make a man appear a fool, a blockhead, or a knave, without using any of those opprobrious terms." I quote, "There is a vast difference between the slovenly butchering of a man and the fineness of a stroke that separates the head from the body and leaves it standing in its place. Sarcasm in ordinary use is applied to all kinds of irony, but more especially to crude and blatant use of apparent praise for dispraise. The term irony has been accepted as an adjective. It has been numerously used. Number 1. Dramatic irony. A situation in a play or in a narrative in which the audience and the author shares the same knowledge, but a character is ignorant. Number 1. The character acts inappropriate to the actual situation. Or number 2, the opposite of what fate holds in store. He, number 3, says something that anticipates the actual outcome. He never acts, speaks, or behaves in a way he actually means it. The lapse or misunderstanding reigns. Greek tragedy writes frequently. Greek tragedy writers frequently used this device. In comedy, it has been used by Shakespeare in Twelfth Night, Act 2nd, Scene 5. Number 2, Socratic irony. As the name denotes, it has been taken from Socrates in his philosophical dialogue. Either there is a pose of ignorance, eagerness to be instructed, to include various points of view, which turns out to be all grounded. Next is comic irony. When God, destiny, or universal process deliberately manipulate events to disturb, frustrate, or mock the protagonist tests of the Dubervilles is a favorite device of Thomas Hardy. Then is romantic irony. Romantic irony is a term invented by German writer for dramatic or narrative writing in which the author builds up an artistic illusion and then reveals that he is an arbitrary creator and manipulator of his characters and actions. The value of irony as a literary device increased greatly in the new criticism. I.A. Richards defined irony as an equilibrium of oppositions. Irony, in this sense, in the bringing in of the opposites, in the complementary impulses, that is, why poetry, which is exposed to it, is not of the highest order, and why irony itself is so constantly a characteristic of poetry, which is unquote. This quotation is from the Principles of Literary Criticism. Thank you.